A very good morning to you out there. It is the beginning of another working week and a pleasure to welcome you to the news at 10 on the network service of the NTA. My name is Blessing Abu.
And I am Nolin Ebel Ame. We are glad to have you join us on the news. Reaching you live from Abuja. Let's begin with the headlines.
Nigeria's COVID-19 cases climbed over 16,000 as NCDC confirms 403 new cases in 19 states, plus the FCT.
Nigerians rebuke Naira Marley for holding a concert in Abuja despite ban on public gatherings.
They're not supposed to have hold such a gathering because they are going to endanger a lot of lives. So certainly I'm not in support of such a gathering.
Other people that have stores here should not be affected because they didn't know they were even hosting a show here. We are not even aware.
Plateau State government intensifies measures towards quick economic recovery after COVID-19.
Correspondent on Nigeria's founding fathers and their contributions to today's democracy.
Now the news in full. Over 400 coronavirus cases reported last night by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, increasing the number of confirmed cases to 16,085 in the country. Of the 403 new COVID-19 cases released at 11:43 p.m., we have Gombe recording the highest in having 73 in Gombe. Lagos has 68, Kano 46, Edo 36, the Federal Capital Territory has 35, Nasarawa 31, Kaduna 17, Oyo 16, Abia 15, with Delta and Borno states recording 13 new cases each. Others are Plateau 8, Niger and Rivers have 7 each, plus Enugu and Ogun with 6 cases each. Kebbi has 3, while Ondo, Anambra and Imo State have 1 case each. Lagos remains top of the COVID-19 Nigeria chart with 7,103 cases, followed by the Federal Capital Territory with 1,247, closely trailed by Kano with 1,137 cases. The number of recovered and discharged patients have risen to 5,220, with 420 deaths on record so far.
70 state-of-the-art bed facility temporary isolation center built by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation and Nigeria Ajib Oil Company joint venture partners has been inaugurated in Asaba, Delta State.
The facility located at the Stephen Keshi Stadium was inaugurated at the instance of the representative of the Minister of State for Petroleum, and that's Timi Priye Silva, and the State Governor, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, as witnessed by Austin Edemodu.
The inauguration of the Temporary Isolation Center in Asaba marks yet another response by the Nigerian Ajib Oil Company and its joint venture partners, Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, and Wando, to stem the spread of coronavirus pandemic, not only in Delta State, but across the country.
If the communities are not healthy, our workers are not healthy, the people in the areas that we work are not healthy, the generality of people are not healthy, the oil business cannot thrive, cannot continue. Therefore, it is in our informed self-interest that we decided to intervene in this manner.
This initiative has established its footprints in 21 states across the geographical zones of the Federation. Each of these states has so far received consignment of medical consumables, an ambulance, and medical equipment like test kits, ventilators, and others like that.
We believe that the state, being a welcoming state, will open its doors also to other neighboring states to share in the medical facility.
The temporary medical infrastructure houses 70 beds space, 5 intensive care unit beds, laboratory and X-ray units. Apart from the CCTV and ICT units, the center boasts of a dedicated 300 kVA generator. The governor of Delta State, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, therefore acknowledged that the facility, which complements already existing ones, comes at a time the state's COVID-19 cases have hit 245, 151 active cases and 12 deaths. He said the state government will continue to sustain the enabling environment for oil companies to operate, while soliciting for the establishment of more testing centers across the country.
And as we look into the future, it's important that we try to engage with the various states and possibly the Nigerian Governors Forum, so that we're able to tailor our needs to the supplies that we get from the oil industry.
Between 2010 and 2018, the Nigerian Ajib Oil Company and its joint venture partners have completed 405 projects across the south of Nigeria and empowered 38,550 farmers, coupled with the establishment of 74 schools and 35 health centers. I'm Austin Edemodo, NTA News.
The Raw Materials Research and Development Council is partnering the Ahmadu Bello University Zaria for the local production of personal protective equipment for use by doctors and other health workers in the front line in the fight against the coronavirus pandemic. With more than 16,000 confirmed cases of the disease now recorded in Nigeria and the numbers still counting, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control says the cases are yet to reach the peak. And hundreds of front-line workers have already been infected and some have died. Although local production of PPEs for these categories of workers already exist in the country, the Research Institute is now set to work with the academia to further bridge the demand gap for this equipment.
Assignment given was on the personal protective equipment, and that is from face masks to gowns to boots to gloves and all. The challenge was to develop the raw materials for them.
The agency says it is also involved in efforts to discover a vaccine for the disease as well as antivirals that could aid recovery of those infected with the active support of the academia.
Working with the council on the mini modular refinery in Ahmadu Bello University, we've also been working on the moringa for purification of water. We have been working on most recently on this response to COVID-19 in the area of personal protective equipment, such as the face mask, the suits, and the boots. We're going to work on the pharmaceutical industry, materials where we want to go into further research and perhaps production of pharmaceutical products, drugs.
Nigerians have berated controversial singer Azeez Fashola, popularly known as Naira Marley, for holding a concert in Abuja despite ban on public gatherings by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 to contain the virus in the country.
Daniel Aderiye reports that the Jabi Lake Mall, where the concert was held, has been sealed off by the FCT administration.
This video obtained from social media shows Naira Marley on stage on the 13th of June performing live at the Jabi Lake Mall, Abuja, in what was meant to be a drive-in concert that reportedly got out of hands. The concert, which was put together by Play Network Africa, Traffic Bar and El Carnival, saw most of the attendees dancing in clusters without face masks to protect themselves and utter disregard of social distancing rules and ban on mass gatherings spelled out by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. Getting wind of the scenario, the FCT Ministerial Task Force sprung into action, securing a court injunction for sealing off the Jabi Lake Mall where the concert was held.
The drive-in party, for now, is not approved in the FCT. If you are passing here, the car park is always very filled. And like what the people who are here explained to us, the car park was very filled, and everything was as if nothing was happening until the artist himself appeared, and everybody in that manner went wild. He flew in from Lagos, he flew back, and we are very confident and very sure that the government of Lagos State will be doing what we believe they are doing at the moment, asking questions how that actually happened.
There have been torrents of reactions from Nigerians about the event.
It's unfortunate that the event of yesterday, they're not supposed to have held such a gathering yesterday because they are going to endanger a lot of lives. So certainly I'm not in support of such a gathering.
Other people that have stores here should not be affected because they didn't know they were even hosting a show here. We are not even aware, and they paid for this rent. So it should be the management that should be held in captivity, not the other stores.
Until all restrictions and gatherings beyond 20 persons are lifted, it is expected of all Nigerians to comply with the guidelines of the Presidential Task Force to curb the spread of COVID-19. In Abuja, Daniel Aderiye, NTA News.
National Chairman of Zenith Labour Party, Dan Uwayanwo, said the 5 years of administration of President Muhammadu Buhari have so far left an indelible mark in the fight against corruption in Nigeria. He stated this while addressing journalists at the party's national secretariat in Abuja. He said the Zenith Labour Party, like other well-meaning Nigerians, knows the cash and property recovered worth hundreds of billions of naira and the zeal of the administration to do more as verifiable achievements that should be sustained.
That we are doing this fight because of our country. Most of the people that held positions in the past in various states liquidated their states. And we, the citizens from those different states, could see where these funds were put in. Some of them are facing trial. Some of them will have their trial commence very soon. But they don't want it to happen. Corruption is now fighting back again. This is a man, if you listen to the president in his Democracy Day speech, he acknowledged that over 800 billion naira has been recovered by Ibrahim Magu. Cash, in cash. Properties worth billions of naira. You know, jewelries and all those things have been recovered. They are available. The funds, according to Mr. President, have been plowed back into the revenue of the nation for common good. So this is a ban that they still want to be removed because a lot of them are now on the line to be charged to court any moment from now.
In other news, the presidency wishes to acknowledge public concerns regarding a recent incident among occupants of the State House, which led to the arrest of some staff by the police. In a statement, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, assures Nigerians that the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Muhammadu Buhari, is not and was not at any time in any form of danger arising either from deadly infections or the reported incident by security personnel, which is currently under investigation. This particular incident happened outside the main residence of the president, and the relevant authorities have been mandated to investigate the matter and for the law to take its course.
This is the news at 10 on NTA News 24, and we are live on the network service of the NTA. When we return,
correspondent on how recognition of June 12 as Democracy Day has changed the tune of politics in the country.
They had an idea which they hope that will nurture into a nation that will give each and every citizen a sense of belonging.
The main way coronavirus spread is when infected people sneeze and cough. Small droplets of fluid expelled by cough or sneezes are laced with viruses looking for new respiratory tracts to infect. When a sick person sneezes around someone who is healthy, the virus can land in the nose, mouth, or even the eyes, causing an infection. Symptoms can include fever, cough, shortness of breath, Symptoms may appear within 2 to 14 days. Seek medical advice if you develop symptoms and have been in close contact with a person known to have COVID-19, or if you live or have recently been in an area with ongoing spread of COVID-19. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Thank you for staying tuned into the news at 10. Now, Nigerians founding fathers have contributed in no small measures to what the country's democracy is today.
However, the recognition of June 12 as Democracy Day has changed the tune of political music and dance in the country. Haman Jabani reports.
A political leader or a politician can be anyone who has taken up the responsibility of governing. History has given Nigeria excess of these crops of people who have dedicated their lives to the betterment of the country. Nigeria's political leaders Hall of Fame parades names like Dan Suleiman, Chief Frank Kokori, Pa Alfred Ronwami, Pa Anthony Enahoro, MQ Abiola, Chief Bola Ige, just to mention a few. These politicians have at one time or the other impacted on Nigeria's political atmosphere over the years. Chains of events snowballed into an election described by many observers as one of the most credible in the history of Nigeria, which brought about the setting aside of a day to reminisce these events. June 12 has stood the test of controversy with a stamp from the Buhari-led administration as Nigeria's Democracy Day. One man stood out of the crowd in these annulments of June 12, Chief Moshood Abiola. He contested for the highest seat in the Federal Republic of Nigeria with a landslide win, but that election was annulled. Nigeria as a nation is celebrating her Democracy Day officially on June 12, which many say is a rebirth and a memorable day in the history of democratic processes in Nigeria. For some, the day also brought about unity among Nigerian citizens, especially the older generation. Observers in Nigeria's politics believe that President Muhammadu Buhari's decision to designate June 12 as Democratic Day invested the late MQ Abiola and Babagana Kingibe with national honors, and the renaming of the Abuja National Stadium as Moshood Abiola National Stadium, a patriotic and democratic gesture which Nigeria's founding fathers stood for.
They had an idea which they hope that will nurture into a nation that will give each and every citizen a sense of belonging.
The fact that Mr. President, despite his military background, he's so democratic, even more democratic than some of us that are co-politicians.
It is believed that Nigeria started on a good note with the nation's founding fathers at the helms of affairs, driving the nation to greater height through dedicated, selfless, pragmatic, and prudent management of country's scarce resources. Politics was played without bitterness. Religion was practiced devoid of sentiment, tribalism, or bias.
You see, the most important thing for us to consider is what you can contribute to the country, not what you can get out of the country.
Key players in the industry are of the opinion that if Nigerians can get it right, the sanctity of the ballot box will be reinstated. The despair electorate would work with smiles and renew hope to vote for credible leaders, and the people can learn something from the lives sometimes of all those that contributed to the growth of the country's democratic journey. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
Thank you very much, Haman Jabani. And we must highlight the fact that President Muhammadu Buhari started this year's democracy address on June 12 by honoring Nigerians' founding fathers who toiled to establish our republic, as well as every Nigerian who has worked tirelessly to sustain it.
And in the studio to elaborate more on this is Dr. Philip Afaha, Head of Department of History and Diplomatic Studies, University of Abuja. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us on the News at 10.
Thank you very much.
All right. Now, what do you make of the sacrifices of Nigeria's founding fathers, both living and dead, in Nigeria's democracy?
Yeah, first we have to deconstruct what we understand by founding fathers. I think generally it has to do with those who participated in Nigerian nationalism and the early leaders of Nigeria who actually took the reins of power at independence. But it stretched beyond that to every other Nigerian leader that has contributed, that has laid a chip or a block to the foundation of what we now have as Nigeria. Now, after saying that, we have to look at what has been their role. You notice that the democracy we are practicing today, we didn't just pick it from the shelf overnight. It actually started from their efforts, the effort of Zikiwe, Balewa, and Awolowo, and the rest of the leaders. And this effort was taken over by other leaders. Even during the military, they also contributed their quota to our national development, to the politics that we are having today, to our political system, our political culture that we are enjoying today. So all these leaders of the past have contributed one thing or the other to what we have as Nigeria today. And even those of them that committed errors, in their foibles, we notice that even their personal errors and their foibles have contributed to national development, because the current leadership and the current generation have to learn on those mistakes that they committed, and we, from learning from those mistakes, we now have in the Nigeria we have. Okay. One thing can be taken out.
Okay, Dr. Fahad, I like the fact that you've been able to take a breakdown of who these founding fathers are and the heroes of the past. Now, the fifth line of the first stanza of the national anthem, at least that's the current one that we're holding, says, "The labors of our heroes past shall not be in vain." But then, for some, they might take it or leave it. They just want to just run these lines just for the mere sake of it. Would you say Nigerians and the political class indeed have embraced the ideals and also the labors of these past heroes for us to be where we are today and moving forward?
Yes, I think the true meaning of that stanza of the national anthem, "The labors of our heroes past shall never be in vain," I think it lays a responsibility on the shoulders of our generation. It's a responsibility on our shoulders. It's a reminder to us that don't throw away this baton. The baton has been handed over to us. We have to keep running the race. We should not abandon the race midway. That is why when President Buhari, in his address, was trying to draw on the history, on the memories of the founding fathers, the whole idea is that look at what they achieved. We must not drop the baton. We must run and pass this baton to the next generation. The founding fathers gave us the idea of nationhood. We are a country of different peoples, well over 400 set of peoples living in one polity. Now, the founding fathers gave us the idea of nationhood. They brought us together. They gave us the idea that we can be one people. We can actually overlook our diversity and extract good out of it. That is what they handed over to us. The Balewa, the Zikiwe, the Mandobelo, the Wolowos were not fighting to split the country. They were not fighting to destroy the polity. They were actually trying to see how they can bring our differences together to see how we can make a country, a nation out of it. That is the baton we took from them.
All right, in building the nation now, what do you think Nigeria's present-day political elite can learn from the philosophies that guided the way Nigeria's founding fathers played politics for a better democratic Nigeria?
Yes. I think in what they have, the political leadership currently have learned, they have learned the resilience. You know that we have issues, but you notice we always say the Nigerian spirit, the resilience. A lot of countries have written us off. The Western world has written us off since 1995. They say Nigeria is going to scatter, but you notice the resilience in our political culture. You notice the resilience of our resolve to stay together. I think what we need to do, what our politicians now need to do, is to harp on reconciliation. I think that is what we usually forget. Simply because we have done national reconciliation once in a while, especially during the military, does not translate to the fact that we should overlook these issues. The country now is tensed. The country within the past few years has been tensed at different fronts. I think we need to call the country to order by bringing in some form of reconciliation of the nationalities that make up what we have as Nigeria. We should not overlook it. there is no limit to dialogue. The country should continue to dialogue. I think the current federal government, headed by President Muhammadu Buhari, should make an effort between now and 2023 to actually bring Nigerians together to dialogue once again. I think by doing that, a lot could be achieved. Let us not overlook the tension that is going on. The country is heated up, and we need to talk again. The nationalities in Nigeria need to come together to trust themselves again if we must move forward. I think that is what the leadership owes us.
Dr. Afa, I know we've been talking, like people will say, we've had several conferences from the national to the regional, but then there is, of course, like what you pointed out, there's a need for us to get together once again, one Nigeria. Those are some of the ideals from the forefathers, from the founding fathers, from the heroes of the past. Now, 21 years on in democratic practice, what kind of talk exactly would you be conversing? Briefly, this is our last question to you.
Yes, I think we have so many things to talk about, but I want us to look at the psychology of having people sit at the round table. It's a psychological thing. Just get people to sit at the round table. Yes, they are going to talk. They may not end up agreeing on the issues you want them to agree on, but for the fact that they have been able to sit together to talk to each other, not at each other the way we are having now, I think we are going to, it's therapeutic. It's a soothing balm. It's going to get people to understand themselves more and move forward than what we have currently on ground, where the leadership of ethnicities, the leaders of religions are now talking and throwing banters at each other. I think we should bring them together once again, if not for anything, for that psychological satisfaction that, okay, we met and we discussed. I think that's what we need.
Well, very well, Dr. Afaha. Thank you so much for your thoughts on the news at 10. We've been speaking with Dr. Philip Afaha, Head of Department of History and Diplomatic Studies, University of Abuja.
Thank you very much.
All right. Moving on, you're still watching the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Still to come.
Akwa Ibom State Government approves the establishment of gender-based violence referral centers in 3 senatorial districts of the state.
Coronavirus is real. Steps to avoid this pandemic. Wash your hands regularly or sanitize your hands. Keep social and physical distancing. Avoid crowded places. Stay at home unless absolutely necessary. Don't touch your eyes, nose, or mouth if your hands are not clean. Avoid the spread of coronavirus. Coronavirus is real.
I wish to once again commend the frontline workers across the country who, on a daily basis, risk everything to ensure we win this fight. For those who got infected in the line of duty, rest assured that government will do all it takes to support you and your families during this exceedingly difficult period. I will also take this opportunity to assure you all that your safety, well-being, and welfare remains paramount to our government. I am using this opportunity to express our deepest condolences to the families of all Nigerians that have lost their loved ones as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. This is our collective loss, and we share your grief.
NTA, you come Deutsch.
This is the network service of the NTA.
You will have to jump off a cliff just knowing that you will not crash. Let me tell you, everybody has their baggage and everybody has their demon. So you might as well deal with your own demon and everything will work out fine. If you're not in control of your emotions will be in control of you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Emotions with Omenasa. This is a show where I encourage you and I enlighten you to take control of your emotions, because if you do not control your emotions will control you. Thank you once again for tuning in. Today, our topic is self-esteem and body image. Self-esteem and body image. What made me actually choose this topic is because I get a whole lot of people, men, women, who call me all the time and they send me emails and WhatsApp messages to counsel them. And here I am thinking, okay, I'll be counseling them on maybe like depression or suicide or, all these common topics that most people go through. But it has shocked me of recent that people are really, really worried about their self-image, about how they look, and how that actually affects them in getting a job. You will be shocked that some people cannot get a job simply because of how they look. And that's really not the context in which I'll be talking about today. The context in which I want to talk about today is how it affects them. Because once again, this show is on emotions and how it affects your emotions. And what actually propelled me to talk about this today is, I received this WhatsApp message, and this person was just so upset, worried about if she was going to get married or not. She was just so depressed. There was a day that she couldn't even go to work. She was just so tired. She was bogged down. And I asked her what the root of the problem was. What is the issue with you? And it amazed me. She didn't talk about money. She didn't talk about maybe her parents. She didn't talk about all these factors that would weigh a person down. What she said was about her size, and she used the word size. She didn't say my body image. She didn't say how I look. She didn't use some kind of psychedelic word to explain this situation in her head. She said my size. And that really stuck with me. It really stuck with me because I remember when I was literally a twig. I was a twig. Nowadays, people look at me, you have gained so much weight. What is going on with you? Are you sick? Are you pregnant? Do you have triplets? What is going on? And it makes me laugh because there was a time that I was literally a size 0. I used to go to a store called Dots. The store does not even exist anymore. From what I know, but that was the only store that sold a size 0. I mean, I couldn't find anything to fit me. It was inconvenient for me. And there's sometimes that I hear women and men who are plus size, and it's amazing how a lot of plus size people think that skinny people don't go through the same insecurities, because I have seen a lot of skinny people who would just wish that they had some more bones on their body. They would wear like this Ankara or something, and the Ankara will look like it's wearing them rather than them wearing the outfits, because they're so skinny. But then again, we also have the commercial world of models, makeup, acting industry, even radio industry, where you don't see people. You will be amazed that a lot of these workers, OAPs and actors and models are still chosen based on their size. I know this for a fact. There was a time that I traveled to London and I was really, really interested in pursuing my modeling career in that route. And I remember them saying how I had to be a certain size and, oh, no, you can come back next year, or you can try that company, not this company, because this company, we have a certain weight. And nowadays, before you eat, you are even considered to be auditioned. You would have to write down, there's a form, you would have to write down your size. Just in case you lied about your waist, you know, you would not be lying about your bust line. Like you're probably going to lie about either or. So they make sure that they know what that number is. And I'm not saying that these people don't have a market and all of that, but you see, this affects the psyche of people. And that's what I want us to talk about today. Because when I was so skinny, I remember drinking bottles and gallons of Ensure. I was drinking all kinds of milkshakes and everything just to gain weight. And now I'm doing everything I can to lose weight. You know, so the whole point is not about how big or how small. It's not a size issue. Self-image is about what you feel on the inside. It's about what you think about yourself. And now I have come to a place in my life where I know that I am absolutely beautiful. Whether my teeth are crooked, or I have big eyes, or I have big cheeks, or whatever it is. When I gain weight, God has not blessed me in a way that I gain weight in the right places. I gain the weight in my face, all around my face, and my neck and chin are connected to each other. It's a very, very it is an annoying thing. I don't like it, but I have grown to embrace myself and love myself just the way that I am. And I started this really by I stopped wearing acrylic nails. I do wear acrylic nails sometimes, but it's not a do or die thing where if I don't wear it, I can't go out. There was a time that I couldn't walk out without makeup. And most of you know, if you follow me, like on social media, you would see that I barely wear makeup unless I am singing, unless I am preaching, or unless I'm doing this show. But my everyday life, I am working in a facility as a nursing assistant. I do not have the energy, and my patients are not looking at my face. So it has helped me to be very, very comfortable in my skin. And that's what I want to encourage you today, is to be so comfortable in your skin. And you may want to do something drastic. Really, that was what happened for me, was I stopped wearing acrylic nails and I forced myself to go out without arching my eyebrows. Today, I am telling you that today was the first time in about a year that I've arched my eyebrows. I don't arch my eyebrows anymore, and there's nothing wrong in arching your eyebrows. What I'm saying is I know people who cannot walk outside of the house without arching their eyebrows. I know people who cannot walk out of the house without getting their nails done, or at least wearing just a pop of lipstick. Get to a stage in your life where you are comfortable in your skin, where you can look at your rolls on your tummy and you can just embrace it, because it's not going to get flat today. So even if you start running today, it's not going to get flat today. Even if you start seeing a dietitian, even if you start seeing a trainer, those changes are not going, all of those changes are still dependent on something. So why don't we work on ourselves to where we are now dependent on the self-esteem that is on the inside of us, which is what I want to encourage you to do, is to know that you are beautiful, you are handsome, you look good. You look good. The most important thing is that you are eating right, you are drinking the right things. Whatever is going into your mouth is not toxic. And you are also working on your emotions. You are working on your emotions. You are forgiving people. Yes, there is a correlation to unforgiveness and depression. There is a correlation to your body weight. Your hormones change when you're angry. Everything changes when you are bitter. Your body size, a whole bunch of things change in your body when you are not in control of your emotions. So once again, I am encouraging you to have healthy relationships with people, but most of all, have a healthy relationship with yourself. Use words of affirmations. Wake up every morning. It is a beautiful day. Be present about everything. Be happy to see your family members. When you look at yourself in the mirror, be happy to see yourself. Tell yourself that you have come so far. Tell yourself that you are so proud of yourself. What does this have to do with body image and self-esteem? Because when you believe in yourself, you wouldn't need all of the peripherals. You wouldn't need all of the bells and whistles. You wouldn't need anything else because you are already comfortable in your skin. Because you are already comfortable in your soul. So work on your soul. You can eat everything, do all the weight loss programs and everything, but if your soul is toxic, you would see that you may lose the weight only for a little while, and then something will happen and you will gain it big time. So please, I want to encourage you, work on your soul, work on your self-esteem. I have a wonderful guest here with me. I have a very, very beautiful, very, very beautiful woman who has been through the journey that I'm talking about. And in a few minutes, you would have an opportunity to see her. Stay tuned. Thank you so much once again for tuning in to another episode of Emotions, and I am here with my guest, Grace Ejembi. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very, very much. So today our topic is on body image, and why I said you have to come on this show is because of what I found out about you. First of all, you had a broken engagement, and then you also decided to adopt a child, and all of this has to do with what you felt about your size.
Exactly.
So what's going on with you now?
Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you for having me here. Actually, years back, I had an engagement that went bad because of my